Hello and thanks for joining us for our late night newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. The countdown to next month's general election is our starting point tonight. More than 900 men and women have registered to run for the 253 electoral seats up for grabs. With the campaigning period to start on Thursday, the candidates are gearing up to hit the streets and win the hearts of voters. Ji Myung-gil starts us off.
The race for the April 13th general election has been re-energized with the candidates finally in place after a brutal period of weeks, which saw the parties infighting over who to nominate. With a total of 944 candidates finalized, the ruling Saenuri Party will launch its election campaign committee on Monday and the main opposition Minju Party of Korea a day earlier. The newly established minor opposition People's Party is also preparing to launch its election committee with a focus on Seoul and the Liberals' home turf of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do province in Korea's southwest. The People's Party and the Minju Party didn't form a coalition to take on the ruling party, but officials say they could agree upon a single candidacy in certain electoral districts to avoid splitting Liberal votes. The People's Party has reiterated that, by and large, it wants to make its own way.
We'll take strong measures against candidates who do not consult with the party when confronting candidates of other parties.
The Saenuri Party has replaced about 38% of its incumbent lawmakers. The Minju Party and the People's Party have turnover rates of 30% and 24%, respectively. The Saenuri Party has promised to narrow the gap between the rich and the poor if it wins the election. The Minju Party has pledged to boost the economy after 8 years of difficulties and downturns under conservative governments. The People's Party has vowed to change Korea's political landscape to a three-party system. Ji Myung-gil, Arirang News.
Now, South Korea's Prime Minister has vowed to tighten national security in the wake of the uptick in tension following North Korea's recent nuclear and missile provocations. Hwang Kyo-an says the government will take every measure to counter any further provocations by the North. He added that the government ministries must make concerted efforts to protect the security of citizens and the nation's key infrastructure. The Prime Minister's comments come as North Korea released a menacing new video on Saturday showing a mock-up of a submarine-launched nuclear missile destroying Washington. The 4-minute-long video was posted on one of the North's main propaganda websites. The United States has denied North Korea's claim that it is forced to develop nuclear weapons because of Washington's hostile policy against the regime. Speaking at an event in Berlin, U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs Daniel Russel said collapsing North Korea is not Washington's strategy, adding that if it were, U.S. actions would look a lot different than what they are today. He noted that the U.S., China and South Korea would like to see the peaceful reunification of the Korean peninsula. Russell also reiterated the U.S. government's position that North Korea must abandon its nuclear weapons program before dialogue can begin. A South Korea-based civic group flew tens of thousands of anti-Pyongyang leaflets across the inter-Korean border on Saturday. The fighters for a free North Korea said they scattered around 80,000 leaflets critical of Kim Jong-un and the regime. The civic group regularly launches balloons carrying such leaflets in a campaign to spread dissenting messages in the north. Now, these leaflet launches come on the same day as a solemn anniversary here in South Korea. 6 years ago to the day, 46 South Korean sailors were killed when North Korea torpedoed the ROK Cheonan in the West Sea near the northern limit line. More than 450 people, including military officials, bereaved families and surviving crew members, held a ceremony on Saturday morning outside an exhibition facility of the Cheonan located at the 2nd Fleet Command in Pyeongtaek. A growing number of households in South Korea are having a tough time paying off their debts with their income. According to the Bank of Korea, there are roughly 1.5 million so-called marginal households in Korea that have trouble making ends meet. Marginal households refer to households whose debt-to-disposable income ratio is over 40%. A debt service ratio measures the proportion of disposable income that households must devote to servicing their loan obligations. Now, the ratio of heavily indebted households was more than 100% in 2015, and that actually means that their debt obligations topped their actual income. And 4 out of 10 in that group said they were incapable of repaying their debt, either within the borrowing period or even at all. Brussels Airport has confirmed that it will remain shut for the next few days with no passenger flights before at least Tuesday. It comes following a coordinated terror attack on Brussels last Tuesday, which saw bombs explode at the airport and at a metro station in the city, killing 31 people and injuring more than 250. The airport says the judicial investigation on the site is complete and that its technicians and engineers are being allowed in to assess the damage in there. The area where explosions occurred remains sealed off to the public, however. Brussels Airport handles 23.5 million passengers every year, and it links Brussels with 226 destinations worldwide and is served by 77 different airlines. Now, as far as experiments go, this one could not have gone any worse. US tech giant Microsoft has apologized for the offensive tweets generated by its renegade AI chatbot Tay, which was yanked offline on Thursday after just 1 day online. The company's vice president of research said Microsoft will bring Tay back after engineers can plan better for hackers with malicious intent. Now, Tay was supposed to have fun with teenagers on Twitter by engaging young users in conversation, but she quickly turned dark, even at points defending Hitler and advocating violence. Now, internet pranksters, many from message board websites 4chan and 8chan, started several highly distasteful conversations. And based on what it learned from these interactions, Tay quickly started to spout her own racist, sexist and otherwise hostile tweets. Now, ever since the landmark match this month between Korean baduk master Lee Se-dol and Google's DeepMind computer program AlphaGo, public interest has grown in artificial intelligence, but many are wondering and rather concerned if these programs could eventually take over the jobs set aside for us humans. Our Kim Mo-gyun reports.
With the continuous development of smart technology worldwide and President Park Geun-hye's plans to boost South Korea's artificial intelligence industry, people have been questioning up to what extent could AI take over. If these robots could replace humans, which jobs would be at high risk? The Korea Employment Information Service unveiled the list of jobs in Korea that could be replaced by AI in the next 5 years. It mostly included jobs that involve repetitive tasks or those that require less communication. Among some 400 jobs, concrete workers topped the list, followed by butchers, plastic and rubber producers, security guards, and tax administrators in that order. Delivery men, gas station workers, and babysitters were also included in the top 30 jobs that could be at risk. Among professional jobs, underwriters, general practitioners, and air traffic controllers had relatively higher risks. On the other hand, occupations that require human emotions, especially in the arts and music sector, had lower possibilities of getting replaced. Artists and sculptors were the least replaceable, followed by photographers, music composers, musicians, and ballet dancers. Actors, designers, and teaching professionals also had low possibilities of replacement. The Korea Employment Information Service said that it based its research on a model created by Oxford University's Frey and Osborne in 2013.
I think this could be a good opportunity to cooperate with these robots and improve overall outcome by allowing them to take over the simple and repetitive tasks and make humans focus on more valuable work.
Experts say that it is necessary to develop a social agreement about the roles of artificial intelligence in our society before 2020. Kim Mo-gyun, Arirang News.
Now, trips to the hospital can be really rather unpleasant, especially if you have to take a lot of medical tests. But through a new development by a Korean research team, people may soon be able to get a diagnosis with a single blood test. Park Se-young has the details.
A drop of blood. Soon that may be all it takes to diagnose diseases thanks to a development by a Korean research team. The new method could also be useful for developing new medicines. The team developed a quick and accurate method for analyzing glycoprotein, which acts as the antennae of cells in blood. The technique analyzes the components and concentration of glycoproteins using a mass spectrometry database.
With the massive amount of data, we can analyze the glycopeptides inside glycoproteins and discover biomarkers at an early stage.
The research team developed a software program that predicts mass spectrometry data for the proteins and their components and compares them with experimental values. It's the first program capable of analyzing the various forms of glycoprotein at once and comparing the difference between a healthy person and someone with cancer.
This method can detect cancer biomarkers from different organs all at once, which will cut costs and time. I believe it will be a useful technology for the general public as it can be used during medical examinations.
The study was published in February in the journal Scientific Reports. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, before we go, we're going to leave you with a brief rundown of the weekend weather here in Korea, and we are going to enjoy another clear and mild day on Sunday across most of the nation. Seoul will bask in some early spring sunshine with a daytime high of 15 degrees Celsius. If you are heading out later tonight, you will need a warm jacket, though, as the low will dip to 0 degrees Celsius overnight. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, those are the stories we have for you at this hour. For more of the latest, don't forget to check out the website arirang.com/news. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.